Hey there, Aries, and welcome to your latest tarot reading. I want to look at the end of 2025 for you. What is November and December bringing in for you? This is going to be a bit more of a predictive style tarot reading. The reason being is I'm almost 41 weeks pregnant. So the veil is very thin for me right now. Well, I'm recording on the 31st of October, so the veil is thin for us all. But aside from that is that Neptune transiting through Pisces for the last time in our lifetime is currently approaching my late degree Pisces sun. 3 of Wands, which is the sun in Aries astrologically. You're feeling powerful at the end of this zodiacal year. All right, so you're a force to be reckoned with right now. But like I was saying, that combination of me being pregnant and Neptune on my sun in Pisces happened before for me, well, during my last pregnancy. And what I found was that I was able to make very accurate predictions for my clients, or I was just having like more kind of prophetic and psychic kind of enhanced experiences. And I wanted to kind of use this sort of window of opportunity to provide this more spiritual and hopefully practical service to the sign of Aries by making some predictions about what's coming through for the end of the year for you. So let's start with November. Father of Cups, final card in the major arcana, the World card, and the 2 of Cups. Okay, so romance, love, relationships, partnership, coming together, commitments and devotion are going to be very strong themes for a lot of Aries people this November. Yes, I'm aware that not everybody is in a romantic relationship, so I'm going to go through the kind of different ways that this could be interpreted. But I just want to actually mention, well, I want to clear up the World card, major arcana cards I'll clear up, but I want to let you know that if you are already subscribed, I really thank you for that. If this is your first time here, well, consider subscribing. Look back to my October reading for Aries where you'll sort of see the usual style that I offer. It's a bit more deep dive, shadow work, those kind of themes come up in the reading. But I want to pull one more card before I get into this November. The World coming through with your major arcana, the Emperor. So yeah, you're in a really good position. You're really getting something that you desire this month. So November brings a somewhat of a culmination, a massive celebration. The World card is it's all coming together. Everything is falling into its right order for you. This means that your reach, your influence as the Emperor, as the Aries, as a leader or an authority and somebody very, very kind of like grounded in their true self is now being showcased or highlighted, like what you do best, what you're all about, what you will and will not stand for. And then it's balanced by these more delicate kind of loving energies on either side that are very emotional, that are really rooted in like just this frequency of love. Okay, so how do we put this into a more sort of mundane kind of storyline? Let's talk about those of you who are in a relationship first. For those of you who are in something that you consider a romantic, committed relationship with another person, this is going to be strengthened and enhanced this month. So you guys are going to feel more connected emotionally, in tune spiritually. There's going to be more chemistry there. There's going to be more of a sort of stripping back any veneer or veil to the sort of undercurrent of your relationship. There's going to be more intimacy, more merging, more togetherness, feeling very connected. This could also manifest in something like a proposal, an engagement, a wedding, a commitment ceremony, a renewal, or something that just establishes you guys in a more devoted way in private or in public. This is going to be something that really takes your commitment to each other to the next level. And you know what? It might even just be like, I'm so glad that we're through XYZ, and now look at us, this Father of Cups. It's like, look at this sort of transformation. Okay, so the black swan. What do we know about black swan? It's that there is a light and a dark to everything, and there's a warts and all, and that there's a real beauty in embracing our shadow self. And as we embrace our own shadow, we're going to be able to embrace the shadow in our counterpart, in our partner. And this just yields acceptance of one another, not trying to change, not trying to control, less resistance. And with this acceptance, it gives room and breathing room for the other to be who they are. And when we have that, hopefully that can maybe yield something like, well, I want to be the best person for you and myself. Thank you for believing in me. So, this really is showing some sort of a major positive growth for your relationship in November. What about not in a relationship but would love one? Well, I see it coming up for you, Aries. I feel like, you've done the work. The person that's waiting for you to align with them has done the work. This is the Father of Cups. It's a card of kind of psychological regeneration and really like a lot of healing and truly examining your life, not just blazing through, truly examining the consequences of your actions, truly examining how your relationships exist and what patterns continuously emerge. And why might that be? So you're examining these things, and don't they say that truly an unexamined life is it's just it could have so much more. There's so much more potential when we really look at ourselves. And sometimes the best way to do that, and sometimes the most uncomfortable way to do that, is through the lens of a relationship. So you're ready for that. But will it be a relationship where it's like fluffy duffy? Like, it will be loving and gorgeous for sure, but there will be a mirror kind of quality to it where you're going to learn and grow, because that's the Father of Cups. They don't just... It's not the Knight of Cups. The Father of Cups is ready to really go there with another person and with themselves. Some of you aren't even interested in a relationship at this time, and I think then that this November just brings about an opportunity for you to to figure out maybe why that is. Not that it has to be, you don't have to ever want to be in a relationship, of course, but to figure out, where you stand on all of that, and maybe just to figure out something to do with your relationship with yourself a bit more. This could also be a fantastic month for you to kind of align yourself with a sort of scorpionic, plutonic person like this. They could be a therapist, a counselor, a coach, somebody who you work one-to-one with, or just, you open up to a trusted friend or something like that. So looking more so to do at these World card and Emperor cards, so like there's a massive achievement for you in November. Something is ticked off for you, like I got what I've always wanted, I have achieved this huge goal. So one of your biggest goal at this time is, for some of you, this sounds kind of, I don't want to be too definitive, but I did say this would be predictive. Like, you pass, you got it. You're a sure thing. The Emperor is associated with themes like entrepreneurship, readiness, influence, power, and like stability, and being like guaranteed, like something locked in. A business sort of kind of thing could come up, something to do with your family, something to do with a management role, something to do with something that you have wanted to grow, and at one point was just a little tiny seed. Now it's just this big, beautiful tree, family tree, empire, whatever you want to call it. And the World card is the final card in the deck, so that certainly suggests something like achievement, mastery, the culmination of like many trials and tribulations, all resulting in this sum of it all, full circle. We've got here in the end. Let's throw a party. Let's really embrace and acknowledge that this is the culmination. It kind of comes with like, this is the end of this cycle. What's next for some? And that could be like, I've just graduated college and I've really just like finalized that. I've just sold my company, whatever it is. And that comes with an end, but also a beginning. December is bringing another major judgment, another major high priestess, and wow, the 10 of Pentacles. So some of you are making a huge sale between November and December, or a huge purchase. This is a really big investment. This is a big deal in terms of money and what you want to do with it. And this is a big card in association with legacy. So, you know, generations to come, where are you in this? You know, where do you fit in? We've got all ages here playing out. And it's not just about your age, it's also about like, you know, levels of like, where are you in terms of where you want to be with your personal goals, with your health goals, with your financial relationship. So this is talking about being in a really advanced stage on something. Something is really ripe and ready now for you, Aries, this November and December. So the World card is the final card, but the Judgment card is the just before final card. So like, you really are coming full circle. All that it requires now for you is just a bit more bravery. Remember I said that that 3 of Wands flew out at the bottom in the other deck earlier, and I said it was Sun in Aries. Well, that's this card here. Aries, my toddler woke up from his nap, so I just had to pick up where we left off. I found that 3 of Wands, by the way, that I had fly out of the deck at the beginning of this reading. Now it's at the bottom of the deck here. So 3 of Wands is the astrological signature for that card is the sun in the sign of Aries. So to me, when I see, let's say your sun sign, that is presuming you're an Aries sun now, you know, you might be a rising or moon or whatever else, but it kind of to me tells me that like November and December are very progressive for you. Very much something signature about you is emerging in the collective, in your own awareness. Like there's just something about your sense of self and what you're all about. And then maybe even some of the more kind of keywords associated with just Aries energy. Sun, moon, rising, anything. Fearlessness, pioneering, impulsivity sometimes, you know, speed, gusto, bravery, but also passion and strength and courage, you know, authenticity as well. So they could be things that you could really benefit from enhancing or leaning into, just those kind of signatures of what it means to be an Aries person. I'll get back to the cards that came through for December. And actually I'm going to clear up the major arcana cards here, Judgment and the High Priestess. So Judgment card actually speaks a lot to fearlessness anyway. Sometimes Judgment card will appear to us at a time in our life when we are brave enough to do something that possibly was even like presented to us as an option in the past, but we didn't have the awareness, we didn't want to, well, maybe we just weren't brave enough to take this opportunity or to rise up to this challenge before. And that's okay, because that was probably the exact way it was meant to be. But now this December, it seems like there is a opportunity for Ace of Wands. Oh, Ace of Cups is just happening to be under that as well. To take these chances. Ace energy in the tarot isn't really the promise of anything, although it represents strong potential. It represents an initiating desire or force. Ace of Cups represents oftentimes a possible connection, speaking more to, you know, possibly meeting somebody, but like the beginning of a friendship, the beginning of an alliance, a new pet, a new child, new life in the Ace of Wands as well, just like this kind of birthing energy, the beginning of something, an initiation. So I think in December, you're really going to be willing to take opportunities as they come, seize the day, be more outgoing and more vulnerable and brave with your heart and with your desires, and kind of actually going for things that you want to go for. The Judgment card would suggest that Aries is not to be held back at this time in their life, that this is a period when the Judgment card reveals itself, that you will rise to what presents itself to you in December, instead of shying away, making excuses, or even sitting back and doing nothing. The High Priestess sometimes seems like they're sitting back and doing nothing, but that's really not the case. They're actually a conduit, like a vessel for some sort of intuitive information to pass through. Okay, let's see. The Hierophant in reverse. December is a really huge month for you. Aries, possibly one of the biggest of your year so far, because the opportunities to connect with others and begin projects and to start new goals and to form contracts, clients, network, alliances, to merge your connections with your passion projects, to monetize on a hobby, to be brave enough to follow through, to be brave enough to say yes, to be brave enough to accept the date, whatever it is. This leads to this kind of like tidal wave effect, or domino effect maybe, of like one opportunity, one ace leads to another opportunity, one door opens another, that kind of a momentum and flow. And then you've got this Ten of Pentacles, which tells me something like, you know, Aries is about to seal the deal this December, or finally close the deal, or inherit that family business, or inherit that legacy, or pass along their legacy, or pass along some part of their ancestry, or just something really monumentous is happening. And with the Ten of Pentacles, it often is a monumental success story in terms of money, finances, generational wealth possibly. And not all generational wealth, as we know, has to be tangible money in the bank or assets. Don't they say that true generational wealth is that kind of examined life that I spoke of earlier? You know, you're not passing down the trauma that you inherited. You are breaking the cycles with you instead of passing those on to your children. And in that way, they're truly the wealthy ones, let's say. So things like that, you know, really taking stock of what it is that you inherited and what you want to pass along. And I don't mean after you're gone, I mean now. I mean, what cycles are you breaking now in a bigger way? But of course, that Ten of Pentacles can very often just look like, you know, a major deal in business, or, you know, some sort of a all-time high when it comes to, I guess, you know, the personal best month you've had with something, or a raise at your job, or a promotion. But then we've got the High Priestess and the Hierophant in reverse. Both of these cards can, well, the High Priestess and the Hierophant is also kind of known as a High Priest, right? So both of these cards can feel a little bit morally superior at times, like, I know more than you, I know the secrets on my scroll. The Hierophant, especially actually upright though, more so, can kind of be like this sort of, yeah, morally superior, highly ethical kind of a force that we are engaged with at a time. But in the reversal, the Hierophant rather, let's call him the High Priest, says, I'm going to break the mold and do something in a different way. So this December, Aries, the sort of call that you have in a very deeply intuitive and private capacity in your inner world to break with status quo, to reinvent the wheel in a sense. The Hierophant asks you to get outside of the box, get outside of your comfort zone, and the High Priestess says, don't worry too much about overthinking this, because your intuition is really strong in December. So your instincts are so powerful. Therefore, your instincts will tell you when to seize these opportunities, when to say yes, when to accept the offer, when to collaborate, when to follow up and actually meet this person and take it from just this online kind of parasocial relationship to let's go to the coffee shop. So your instincts are really strong, and you do something very untraditional in a way this December, or like kind of breaking with societal norms, but there's a huge payoff from doing that. Okay, Aries, I'm gonna leave you there. I'm gonna wrap up with this series. You're the last sign that I've read for these November-December predictions. Might you be the last sign that I read for 2025 on YouTube? I don't know yet. Like I said, I'm about to enter a portal of my own as I prepare to give birth, and we'll see how that kind of journey after that, how much energy I have to return to making videos. Of course, I'll be returning to make videos here in the future, so make sure you're subscribed and all that. You know, I'll probably get the itch to be creative and upload something before the year is out, for sure, but I wanted to kind of just cover my bases while I had the energy to do so by, you know, seeing what November and December looked like for you at least. Thanks for watching. Bye.